Hello everyone, Nordic Beast here, and welcome back to the Shipyard. It's been a while since the last episode, and as you can see, I have been busy. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? So either last episode or the episode before, somebody in the comments mentioned I should make something like an Australian land train, which is basically a semi-trailer, or a semi-truck with multiple trailers behind it. And I like that idea of like a tug pulling a bunch of cargo sections, and that's essentially what I did. Now, this is my second version, and I'm not overly happy with the aesthetics still, but this does work, and it does work quite well. I do like how the thruster sections kind of go around the cargo. It's kind of cool, I don't know. But each cargo container is individually numbered, and same thing in the control panel. It's all individually numbered, so you can just come up and detach this section, and there you go. And it works for all of those. And then if you're close enough, you can go ahead and boop, reattach it. And there you have it. Now, the problem is, if you're trying to get the middle one, you have to take that out and then kind of reconnect everything. So I think it would be better if you just had like one end and had something like where these hydrogen tanks are on this ship have a bunch of cargo containers attached that way. And so you could do like smaller cargo container outlines like this, just maybe one cargo container and one merge block and connector, and then connect them up in that fashion. I know it's not land train style, but I think that would just be a little bit more efficient. But this is still cool. I still think this would be quite useful, especially if you're dealing with like dropping off cargo and trading and stuff like that in a server. You can literally just drop off a section for trade as opposed to having to hook up and everything. Like, no, just keep the section, you're good to go. So next up are these little guys. So it is now 2022. Happy New Year. And around Christmas time, the wife got me a Steam gift card. And I started playing Elite Dangerous again. And with the Steam gift card, I ended up buying Elite Dangerous Odyssey, which is the first-person shooter section. And the ship that I loaded up, or that I have currently, even though I can afford a much better one, I have the Eagle, because the Eagle's good for bounty hunting and all that stuff. It has forward-swept wings, and the entrance to the ship is very similar to the Planet Express ship. And so I kind of went with this, where you see like the entrance is underneath the cockpit. So this is just my first version, but you notice here, this is my little airlock. This is going to be a common theme, this airlock. So we got guns, we have survival kit, and it's fully pressurized, so let's go inside. We have like the crew section here, just a little bed, table. We have a ladder that goes up. As you see here, we have just enough room to be able to get in here. We have the cockpit with a nice view, especially downward, which is good for landing on a planet. And then we have this rear seat here, passenger seat. We also have the programmable block there. You can put anything you wanted on there, kind of give you the feel like you're doing something, or even have something important on there to monitor that you can tell the pilot if you want to do like multi-crew. So that's pretty cool. And then if we follow this janky-ass catwalk that's too skinny, there we go, we have a bathroom. Multiple shelves, sink, toilet. Excuse me. Hop on down. We have each one of these designs you're going to see has two cargo containers that are fully conveyed. This one, I love the aesthetics of it. I like how it looks. I know it kind of turned out Firefly Serenity looking. That wasn't my intent, but that's just kind of how it ended up. And then those two are like based on it. This one also has small hydrogen tanks in the wings. And then we got 3 large tanks back here. We got a tank on either side here. And then it runs on batteries that you can see back here. And retractable landing gear. They all have retractable landing gear with magnet pads on them. So this one was, I like the look of the ship, but I wanted to make it more practical on the inside. And it is, but I never finished this aesthetically on the outside. I don't like how it looks. But we'll take a quick look here. Notice a similar airlock, lots of guns. Now in here we have more of a crew section down here, like all our passenger seats, I should say. A little extra seat there. Come on up. We have the pilot's seat here. Again, really good view out. And then back here we have the captain's quarters. We actually have a bed, and we have a shelf, Nothing overly special, but it's there. And same thing, behind this wall we have 2 medium cargo containers that it's all fully conveyed. And this one also runs on batteries, but has a jump start reactor, unlike that one. I don't think that one has a jump start reactor. And retractable landing gear, and the wings are completely filled with hydrogen tanks, like the small ones. But you also have the large ones. You have them on the wingtips. I think I put some back here. I can't recall. Now, this one was meant to be a little bit more streamlined. I didn't want to deal with the damn ladders, because without gravity in the small ships, it's kind of a pain in the ass. You'll see. But so I decided to just put the airlock in the back here. Come on, get in. Very similar airlock with pew-pews. Now you go ahead and come in here. You got a little bathroom on the side here, a little custom-made one. And this moves off to the side because in there we have the cargo containers and everything all connected up, as you see. We have our passenger seats. In here we have our little captain's quarters with the pilot seat. Now, aesthetically speaking, I'm not 100% happy with how this one turned out. And I don't know. I think if given enough time, I could get it someplace that I like, but I don't care for it. Huh, that's the first time I didn't walk up on the wall. So here you can actually end up... Yep, here we go. Yep. Oh, there we go. Fucking need gravity generators for small ships. Come on. There we go. So, expect more ships like this in the future, like small ships gone large. I really like these. You don't find a whole lot of them on the workshop. And, I mean, you do. You can find them, just not a lot of them. And it's like... they're incredible. Like, mine are amateur by comparison. And but I do like these. I'm going to work on more that are in a similar vein. I like small ships gone large. So next up is this little guy. So I used to build tons of military ships, and then I stopped for a long time. And I started building more cargo ships, exploration ships, shuttles, and salvage ships. I like that kind of stuff because you mostly see military ships on the workshop. So I wanted to make a fighter, and I haven't made one in a long time, and I wanted to make it armed to the teeth. So this is in the same weight category as my Svalin fighter with the same thruster equivalents. 4 in the back, 2 in the front, 1 on each side and up and down. But this one has 8 Gatling guns and 6 rocket pods, which could probably stand to use Whiplash's sequence script, because, I mean, firing 6 rockets at once, that's a hefty punch. But if you had the weapon sequencer script, it would fire quite quickly having 6 rocket pods. But my Svalin only has 6 guns and 2 rocket pods. So this thing's quite a bit above. And I don't know. I do and I don't like the aesthetics of this. I like it because it has more of a real spaceship look about it, like how it's kind of chunky and doesn't need to be like aerodynamic or nothing like that, But the Svalin looks so much better than this thing. But I still like it. Alright, so these guys. I should explain, over the last 6 months, I decided to rewatch The Expanse. And the 5th season had come out, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to rewatch The Expanse, and then I can watch the 5th season after recapping the first 4. And then the 6th season just came out, and actually I just finished the series finale the other day. I cried a little bit. I was really sad about it, and I was even wearing my Razi shirt. I have a Razanate shirt with the pinup girl on it. It says Razanate, and I actually have a little model of the Razi that's on top of my TV in my bedroom. And what can I say? I'm a fanboy. So I really like the concept of your crew section being perpendicular to your thrust. And so instead of, all right, here's your thruster, basically like this. You get your thrusts pointing that way, and your crew is horizontal to it. Or parallel to it, I should say. So you're facing this way when, it's thrusting. Well, with these, it's like a skyscraper. And now that I have started building that way, I don't want to not build that way. Now, mind you, these ships are in no particular order because this is like one of the first ones I designed, and this one is one of the most recent. So that's just happened to be the order that they're in. But this one was the first one I kind of pieced together, and has 2 large cargo containers and 8 hydrogen tanks, which is probably way too much. But this is meant to be an explorer, and so you could actually fly this thing in like the atmosphere and stuff longer than other ships because it has a larger fuel supply. So that's something. Now the biggest issue is when landing, your docking port is way the fuck up here instead of way at the bottom. So I don't know. One of these days I'll figure out how to, I don't know, put the docking port at the bottom. I don't know. I'll figure something out one of these days. Because then you have to fly out. Now this one actually lands just on its tail cone, which is fine. However, if you are on uneven ground, it doesn't work out too well. So my later designs, I ended up having actual landing gear, like retractable landing gear. This one also, as you notice, has windows up here. A lot of my newer ships don't have as many windows because really don't need them. It's more of I mean, in some cases you do, like exploration ships and transports and stuff. But my military ships aren't having much in the way of windows. So this one has those big windows. So you land, you need an observation deck, even though that's like the crew area. Then this one here is actually a rebuild of a really old destroyer of mine. So I built this destroyer back when heavy armor was like super overpowered, like way super OP. I had a video, I think it was like, it might have been Welcome to the Shipyard like 15 or something like that, maybe even earlier. And I'm sitting there shooting a heavy armor deck with like 20 missiles and hundreds of cannon rounds. Didn't even destroy a single block. Like, it damaged them, but didn't even come close to destroy. And I'm just sitting there blasting away. So I decided to make a destroyer that used 2 layers of light armor, so that it wasn't like super impervious to damage and was still usable. And it actually had the advantage of being quite light and easy to repair because you weren't using heavy armor. So this is based on that design loosely. And then I decided to kind of do the, the Expanse style interior, of everything being perpendicular. So originally this was going to be a landing bay, but then I decided to change my mind, and this is actually going to be more the crew section. Because down here is where all the thrusters are. These are the rear thrusters. And so all this has got to be filled up with, like, the generator, the reactor and all that, and probably the gyros and everything. And I had no room left. Like, literally, this was all door. All these here. I'll show you from the outside. I know it's a little confusing. Yeah. So this was actually a door, and same on the other side. But, again, I didn't really have any room. And if you notice, these thrusters are set in, too, for protection. So you couldn't really build up here either, because, like, you can only get to about here. So I didn't have a whole lot of room. So I decided to take out the landing bays, and I added, just the armor on there. And there's a little bit of heavy armor on this, but it's mostly light. I'm going to finish this, but we have a weapons update coming up soon. And so a lot of my military ships, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to wait until that update, which I'll get to more here in a minute. So this one is probably, out of all of these vertical ships, my favorite one. And in fact, this one is my new Glorious. This one has a single cargo container, large cargo container, 2 hydrogen tanks, and, all your basic thrust. We got 2 Gatling turrets. We got a jump drive. We have, our antenna or ore detector. We got a beacon. I'll even show you guys the interior on this one, which I do like. So these interiors are sometimes kind of hard to build. So we have our little suit and gun section here, one of the armories. Go ahead and hop in. Now in here we have this is our engineering section. We got our reactors in the floor, which it has 4 of them. Underneath all this, it also has the hydrogen engine. So this thing's got hydrogen. If you run out of uranium, you can run on power from that, as well as batteries. So you can run this whole thing on batteries, but you can't really jump using the batteries. But you can still limp around using them, and you can recharge them using the hydrogen engine. So as long as you have access to ice, you're good to go. A couple of cargo containers just for looks and whatnot. And we've got our survival kit, and under here is where the air vent is. Yep. And this is the oxygen generator, which is nice. You get direct access there. So here's our ladder. Hop on up. Boop. You can see the oxygen going up here. This is the crew section. We got our shower and bathroom, the TV, and the couches. And this is the kitchen. And this is the bed section. So this is meant for a crew of 2, by the way. And come up here. This is the command deck. We have our projector here. And then this is really meant to, you can put whatever you want on the programmable block. And this is where your second crew member goes. And then here is the cockpit. Right there. And I like that. I like the little ladder leading right up to it. And you can even see out, which is pretty cool. So I really like this ship. This would be a great... Oh, actually, hold on. I'll show you guys also. This has retractable landing gear with magnet pads. So there we go. So this would be a great ship for your first big ship on a server, or even if you're playing by yourself too, because it's very survivable. You've got a large cargo container, which is more than enough for what you're going to be doing. You can land and go anywhere, and then this also has another fun feature. So when landing, here's your cockpit. So you're looking this way, so your antenna is above you, all right? And then when you go to land, since you land on your tail, it then rotates so that you're facing this way, and I have a remote block with a camera. So you switch the remote block to change your orientation and then access the camera so that you're looking that direction while landing, and it makes it so much easier to land instead of having to worry about adjusting your access of what controls to use, which could potentially get you to crash. So yeah, this one I really like. That's a fun feature. Oh, Cool's playing Space Engineers. This one was designed to look like it's from what's that game? Homeworld. Somebody actually mentioned one of my other ships looked like it was from Homeworld, and I don't remember what. No. It was a concept for a story that I had. Somebody said it was like Homeworld. So I played Homeworld for about half an hour about 20 years ago. And but I mean, I've seen the ships. The artwork is out there. And that's kind of what this ended up looking like. And on purpose. I kind of like the shape and look of a lot of those ships. But I don't actually know much of the story. I had to go and look it up to find out what my friend was talking about. So this one is literally supposed to be a drone that can also carry a single person. This has no interior. So you've got that, but this is where you dock and everything. And it's got a little camera here. It's got a remote block underneath there. But that's why it has an antenna attached to the side. So this is meant to be a cargo rocket that can land on the ground or go up into space. However, you can remotely control it using the antenna and a remote block. But again, it's got nothing else on the inside. It's just meant to carry cargo. Now, I can't remember. How many cargo containers does this one have? Just the one. Okay. Yep. What about hydrogen tanks? I'm trying to remember the interior here. Hey, you. So this one's got 2 hydrogen tanks, 1 cargo container. All right. So this one is similar vein, but it's I think it's 1 of each. Yeah, this one's 1 of each. And I went with I like the landing gear being out like that. And this one has, you know, the cargo, or I'm sorry, the connector section on one side and the jump drive on the other. This one doesn't really have an interior going on yet. The engineering area is kind of done. Oh, would you come on? There we go. But nothing else really done. So I will eventually finish this one. I think this one's got potential. I don't know. I wanted something a little bit more space looking. I don't know. I do like it though. We'll go with these two here. So last night I wanted to build something very Expanse looking. And so this one I ended up trying to be as minimalistic as possible, and I wanted to go with a sphere. Very Soyuz looking. So we go ahead and hop in here. We have a door on each side, but no actual airlock. We have our cockpit right here. If you look, 98,000 kilograms. It's so tiny. But it does have a survival kit here. We have our crew area up here. And 3 cargo containers, I think it has total. 4 maybe? 3 or 4. No, let's see. 1, 2, probably 3 there, 4, 5. 5! So actually that's not too terrible. But this is all battery powered. And it runs on hydrogen. You got 1 oxygen generator. No oxygen tank. And that's it. Like, it is as minimalistic as you could get. This would be an excellent, like, escape rocket. And it runs on 3 batteries, by the way, which gives it, even with the antenna on full power, it gives it 5 days worth of power, as long as it's not running the oxygen generator, which if you have a full tank, you don't necessarily need, except for to refuel or refill the, the crew area. So after this, I was like, you know what? I want to make something that looks like the Epstein prototype from the Expanse. And that's what this guy is. And I actually ended up really liking this one. So as you notice, it's got the same spherical section, but I put the sphere over the hydrogen tank. And embedded in here, I should be able to see it. There it is. We have the oxygen generator. Now this one also has no oxygen tank, I don't believe, but we got a single Gatling turret here. I'm sure I could probably figure out how to put a gravity generator in here, but I don't have one yet. But we do have a little crew section. We have our reactors here on the floor. We have our cargo containers. We have our survival kit, which you have access to here. The bed, kitchen. We have a desk, our gyro, and now we can go upstairs. I come up here. Here is the bathroom, by the way. And then we have our 2 control seats, which really I only needed 1, but I wanted to kind of even it out. Boop. And a decent view out of this. I kind of like it. It's so weird. But this one, it's only 20,000 kilograms heavier than the other one. But you actually have a fair amount of space inside, a proper airlock. We have a remote block with a camera. I'm going to put a camera above that door, too, for docking. And I like that it's got the cannon and stuff. Like, this is also not a bad first ship if you don't mind not having a jump drive. Like, if you want something short range, like lunar to Earth. And by the way, this lands on planets just fine, too. It just, once again, has got to sit on the cone. But you could easily mount retractable landing gear to it if you wanted. I really like this one. I'm proud of this one. So this one might come into use in the future. All right, so these last 2. The weapons update that's coming out probably in the next 2 weeks or so. It's the 20th today of January. So sometime in February, Keen said they're going to release the next update. They announced there's going to be a railgun, an artillery cannon turret thing, which might have fixed variants. There might be a turreted variant of the railgun. I don't know yet. Let's adjust time here. There we go. So we can see these a little bit better. And so I designed these ships with the concept of being able to mount those new weapons from what I've seen. So size-wise, at least, I don't know if they can power them or not. So this one is actually supposed to have RDAB's PvP missile script. So this thing can weld up a missile in here and launch it out the front. And I can't remember if it's guided by a camera or by a turret. So I have a turret there, and there's supposed to be a camera there. I don't know what I did. Maybe I forgot to put it on there. But, let's see here. We can go ahead and close that. Now, from the cockpit section, it opens at the same time. But close that off, and there you have it. They're very Expanse looking, and that was kind of the purpose of it. But it has 4 Gatling turrets, and then it's supposed to have 2 railguns, one on either side. And then I might even change it to be able to mount artillery turrets, one on top, one on bottom. But they take up more area, so I don't think I can just use what I have there. I think I'd have to kind of bulk it up a bit. But we got the cockpit under here. And the interior is not done. The interior is currently blank. But I really like how this turned out. And look, we got the gravity generator there. Yeah, I like how this is all open. We got a little magnetic pad back there, so this thing can land on planets currently. Now, it is all light armor, except the whole front of this is all heavy armor. And this front edge right here, like and around, and then this edge here is all heavy armor, because this thing's supposed to be facing whatever it's shooting at. So, and by the way, it's named the Desdemona because Lord Wiseman, one of my other gaming buddies, his dog's name is Desdemona, and one day she was all up his butt, and he's like, hey, Mona, leave me alone, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm naming this thing Desdemona. I really like that name, too. So then last is this guy. Also meant to mount a railgun based on the size, which is 9 blocks long, 3 blocks high, and 1 block wide. So that's what you see here. And I got the antenna mounted in there. And I just put a rocket launcher there that is piped up, obviously, to kind of represent it. Now, where these rocket turrets are is where artillery turrets should be. And then we got 2 Gatling turrets and 4 interior turrets. And we have retractable landing gear on the back, and this thing does land on the ground. So I don't think I did an interior on this. Let's see. I'm just going to open it. Engineering seems to be done, but I don't think anything else is. Nope. So that's it currently. But this is all light armor. And the idea is they showed that the turret range, at least for the artillery turrets, can now go up to 2 kilometers. I bet you the railgun is long range too. So this is supposed to be more of a vanilla long-ranged attack ship. That, light armor, you use your maneuverability and speed to not get hit, and then long-range weapons to attack. So that's it. That's what I've been working on. Couple of military ships, mostly non-military ships, all hardcore science fiction, hyper-realistic ships. Which, Space Engineers isn't necessarily the best game for it, but I can't help myself now. I just really like it. But, yeah, if you guys enjoyed, please hit that like button. If you have any ideas of something you'd like me to cover, go ahead and leave your comments in the comments down below. Leave your ideas in the comments down below, rather. And if you guys enjoyed, I'll see you guys in the next one.